Hello, and welcome to Life Support, a part of the Roux experience. My name is Renee Ruffin. Listen, I am so excited to be coming to you guys with part 2 of our series on pain. And I really hope that last week's session on pain and the purpose of pain was helpful to you in your healing process. We talked about the fact that pain is purposeful, it is anticipated, it's intermittent, and it's normal. We also talked about 2 types of pain: pain that hurts and pain that alters. And we had a powerful analogy of the stages of labor in a parallel to pain. And I really, actually, that blessed me to go through that process, because we talked about how the labor process starts with contractions or the commencement of hurt. And then we move to a transition phase where we're going through the transition of, what is this? Why am I having this? And what is this really all about? Transition to pushing, where we begin to press through and push through and endure the pain and the hurt that we feel. And ultimately, that pushing takes us to a birth of some sorts, where we're birthing life. We've become stronger. We've determined and learned that we're resilient and we can get through it. And at the end of it, we become better for it. So I'm hoping that understanding that pain has a purpose really has helped you, if you're in that process right now of going through something, to understand that there's a reason for it. And more importantly, there is light and life at the end of it. So today we're going to talk about how to press past our pain. And let me tell you, I firsthand have had an experience today, before I started this taping session, on really having to walk through pressing past my pain. In our session, or the first session of Life Support, I talked about the fact that I've learned the importance of being transparent with people. And that's really what this podcast is all about, is me being my transparent self and coming to you to let you know that you're not in this thing alone, and that you're not the only person that goes through things. But more importantly, you can come out of it. You can get past it. So in saying that, I didn't know if I'd be able to film today, because I've been having some pain in my body that really is excruciating, to the point this morning I really couldn't even get up. I couldn't walk. But I decided, well, let's see if you can press past your pain, fulfill your purpose, do what you're supposed to do, and actually live the example that you're going to talk about. Which leads me to point 1, acknowledging that you have pain. That's what I just did. I acknowledged my pain. A lot of times we don't want to acknowledge that something hurts us. I gave you a physical example just now, but I really want to talk about emotional pain, because that can sometimes be even more debilitating than physical pain. And we often feel like acknowledging that something has hurt us makes us look or appear to be weak. Well, I want to let you know that could be further from the truth. It takes a lot of courage to admit that something or someone has hurt you. And it is okay to say to a person, what you just did really hurt me. Or if you have a confidant, to talk to your confidant and say, there is something that's really hurting me. Because until you can acknowledge and be real with yourself that there is something or an issue that is challenging you, you really can't get past it. When you go to any type of support group, which I think is what we're building here today, the first thing that they tell you when you walk through the door is that you have to first admit or acknowledge that there is an issue. So acknowledging your pain is step 1 in getting past it. The next step is to feel it. Allow yourself to feel the pain. In the spirit of feeling the pain, there's a quote that I'd like to share by Marianne Williamson. And it says, "It takes courage to endure the sharp pains of self-discovery, rather than choose to take the dull pain of unconsciousness that would last the rest of our lives." Basically what that quote is saying, it takes courage to feel pain. But when you deny yourself the ability to feel pain, you're eliminating a part of discovering who you really are. When you go through pain, it really teaches you what you're made of. Can I get through the tough times and challenges in life? Do I have what it takes to make it through? You can't do that if you don't feel it and allow yourself to get through that process of pain. In the natural or in the physical, we're taught when something hurts us to take something to numb it. When you have surgery, you're given an anesthetic to numb your pain. And when you come out in your recovery, the first thing they're going to do is give you something through an IV to numb your pain so that you don't feel. Well, we've carried that same concept over to every component of pain, spiritual pain, emotional pain, where we just don't want to feel. So what happens to us when we don't allow ourselves to go through that hurt? We bring other emotions into the scope of what we're dealing with that are unhealthy. We mask pain, or we try to numb it by maybe we become angry. And then we come across as being angry people that are not approachable, that nobody wants to be around, we have negative energy, or we become bitter. We trust no one. We want relationship with no one. Because those are the ways that we numb ourselves from pain. Or maybe we isolate. And isolation sometimes is good, but not when it is based on the premise of, I don't want to deal with something, so I'm going to cut myself off from everything else and everyone else because I'm hurt. You have to allow yourself to feel the pain to stop the cycle of pain. Numbing it doesn't make it go away. Give you a good example. If you cut yourself, it hurts. It hurts to cut yourself. But there is a process of healing that you go through. And that cut first has to close back up. So the skin has to reconnect itself. And that part of growing new skin and all that, it hurts. It hurts. And then there's a scab. And then it's tender in that area. But after it goes through that healing process and you feel the pain, it's whole again. It's not tender anymore. I can't touch that spot again and it still hurts me because I've allowed it to heal. When we don't allow ourselves to feel the pain and to really heal from it, somebody else can come along to that very same spot and re-injure you all over again. Now it goes deeper and it hurts even more, and you're more bitter and you're angrier, and the cycle continues all over again. So feel the pain. You can do it. Just like we talked about in the birthing process. You can endure it because at the end there's life, but you got to get through the process. The next step is to forgive the person that hurt you. Or if you were the one that caused the pain, forgive yourself. When you don't do that, instead of learning from our past, you dwell in the past. When you dwell in the past, you become miserable. And one thing I can tell you, pain is inevitable, but misery is optional. Don't choose to be miserable. Don't choose to dwell in what was. Choose to dwell in what is. But the only way you can do that is through the power of forgiveness. So, step 1, you have to acknowledge that you're hurting. Step 2, you have to allow yourself to feel the pain. Step 3, you have to forgive. Now, let's talk about the next step in moving past our pain. You have to become intentional about your future. And what I mean is that if I'm intentional about where I want to be and where I want to go, I have to not allow anything, including hurt, to stop me from getting there. I have to make a commitment to myself that I am intentional about what my purpose is. And anything that's in the way of my getting there, I have to allow myself to find a plan and a path to get over that. You have to be intentional about that. The next thing is that you have to change the way you think about the process of pain, and then you have to visualize and see yourself past it. I hope I've given you enough information already to change the way you think about the process of pain, because now you understand what pain is about, the purpose of it. So you have some information that's really powerful to help you see pain differently. And to also know that we all experience pain. It's not just unique to you. Anyone breathing has experienced pain, and as long as you're breathing, you're going to experience it again. But now I'm going to challenge you to see yourself beyond the pain. Begin to visualize yourself in a happy space. Where do you want to be? Not where are you right now. Where do you want to get to? What place of a space of joy and healing and restoration do you desire to be in? See yourself there in your thoughts. Be intentional about that. Your mental attitude about pain, and really about anything, can generate either peace or turmoil. And the only thing that is between where you are now and where you want to be is your mind and how you think about it. Generate thoughts of peace and see yourself past your pain. And I guarantee you, you're going to get there. And the last thing that you need to do is disconnect so that you can reconnect. Thomas Carlyle has a powerful quote, and it says, "Silence is the element in which great things fashion themselves together, that at the length they may emerge, fully formed and majestic, into the delight of life, which they are brought forth to rule." Now I know that's deep, but basically what the quote is saying is sometimes you have to disconnect, get quiet, be silent. Great things are birthed out of silence. Become one again with your spirit. Listen to yourself. Listen to what yourself is telling you that you need to heal. Don't run from this process anymore. Embrace it. Embrace pain. Disconnect from everything that's hindering you so that you can reconnect with yourself. And go through the stages again. 1, acknowledge that you have pain. 2, feel the pain. 3, forgive yourself if you've caused pain, and forgive someone else if they've inflicted pain upon you. Learn from your past and don't dwell in it. Become intentional about your future. Change the way you think about the process of pain and see yourself on the other side of it. Disconnect so that you can reconnect. And what I want to leave you with before we wrap up this series on pain, I want to encourage you, stay in the game. You can't win the game if you don't play it. And that leads me to what our next series is going to be about. Playing to win. And we're going to start that series off talking about the importance of creating and not competing. I really, really hope that these 2 sessions on pain have been a blessing to you. That you now understand what the purpose of it is, and more importantly, that you have some meaningful steps to help you move past it. I thank you for tuning in. And remember, walk firm enough to leave a footprint and straight enough to pave a path. Until next time, be easy.